Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. So today I'm putting together this centerpiece for my niece. She has requested something for her dining room table, so we've done a centerpiece and she just wanted some pretty colors and something that maybe looked a little country, something informal. So I've opted for a basket, which I thought was really pretty, and these beautiful flowers. I made a beautiful centerpiece. And you know what? I didn't spend a lot of money on it. So I'm going to show you what materials I used and how I put it together. Alright, so to create my basket arrangement, of course, I have a little basket here. I thought it was really pretty and it follows a bit of the country theme that my niece wants for her table. And of course, I've got some greenery here. This is a variegated leaf, and it's really nice because I think it'll coordinate with what I have here, especially these right here. This is like I don't know if this is a cabbage rose or peony, but I've got this bundle here, this bush of flowers, and they've got a like variegated tone to them, so I thought they blended very well with this. And of course you can see it's got greens and blues. Of course I'm not going to use everything in here. I want to use a bit of what's in here, so I'll decide as I'm creating my arrangement. And then I've got this beautiful like a dusty rose hydrangea, and it's got some little cream flowers here, and these little cream, these little roses here, and of course these other little cream flowers in there. But to add more of that cream, I also grabbed a couple of bundles. Again, I'm not going to use everything. I'm just showing you what I got. So I'll use whatever I feel I need into this basket, and I'll work from there. I might have some leftovers, but that's fine because I have another project that I want to do. I also have this stem of little berries that I thought was really pretty to put in there. I think it goes really well with the greens over here, and of course all the other colors. I did grab this bundle of these cream or beige colored sunflowers. They're so pretty. So maybe we'll work those in as well. So lots of large flowers here, so we'll see what we'll use. So that's it, you guys. These are my supplies. I do have some styrofoam and some wire that I'm going to be using in my basket. And then of course I've got my hot glue gun ready with some glue. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to cut up the styrofoam, and you can see I already have a little craft knife already stuck in there because I was already starting to cut. But I want to make this piece that I can fit into my basket here. So about half of this. So I'm just using a little craft knife to cut right into it. That'll fit in there. I'm not going to hot glue it down. It fits nice and snugly in there, but in order for it not to come flying out, I am going to use some wire. So I'm going to get enough wire, and I'm going to get 2 pieces. Enough wire to go from underneath to come out through the basket and then wrap around the top of the styrofoam. So I want it to be long enough for that. So this is kind of like an estimation. Make it a little bit longer than you think. So I'm going to use that same piece to cut the second one. Alright, so now that I have my pieces of wire ready, and of course I have my styrofoam ready, this fits nice and snug. So I'm just going to turn it over like that. And I can see through the basket here, and I'll just insert these through some opening in here on the one side of it. Let's see, let me straighten it out so it comes out straight to the top there. And I can grab it. There we go, I've got it right here. And then I want to do the same thing on the other side. And let me straighten it a little bit more so it comes straight up. Okay, now that I've got both of my ends, I'm just gonna grab it nice and tight. It'll kind of slide into my styrofoam, which is a good thing. Now, of course, I cut it really big, so that's a good thing. Well, not a good thing, but it's best to have it longer than what you think. So all I'm gonna do is just kind of twirl this around the leftover ends, or I could snip them off and just hold them down into it. So I'll do the same thing, but on this other end with the other piece of wire. Alright, so now that I've got my 2 wires on there, I've gone ahead and I've added a little bit of glue right where the wire comes through the styrofoam right there, where it's slid into it, just to hold it in place. I don't want to put too much glue because I don't want to create a puddle of glue, and then if I want to stick a stem of flowers and or a flower stem in there, I'm not going to be able to push it in because the glue is in the way. So just a little bit of glue, that's all you need, just a little security. We'll let that dry and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so my next step is to cut some flowers from the bush, and I always prefer to buy the flowers in a bush because then oh sorry, these were two separate bushes, by the way. Okay, so yes, I always like to buy flowers in a bush because it's much more economical than buying single stems. And of course, if you always, you got some left over, you can use it for another arrangement. I'm going to grab 2 of them for now because it is a small basket. These are pretty big flowers. Now, if you want to know how much my items cost, I'll look at my receipt in a moment and I'll let you know. I did buy them at a local flower shop. So obviously prices are going to be different if you happen to shop, say, at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or some other floral supply store. Or maybe you like to order your florals from Amazon or any other place, Etsy. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a few, and if I need more, I will cut some more. I'm going to go ahead and cut some from the other bushes as well, and I'll be back. All right, so you're going to be hearing the fan in the background. I'm sorry about that. So this is the store that I went to called Tricia Flores. Floreria just means flower shop. That's their address here in Harlingen, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. So I don't know if they have any other locations anywhere else. So I can tell you the basket was $5. I bought a grapevine wreath, which is going to be used for another project, but I do have some floral bushes. I think the most expensive were these here. These were $6.99, so $7 for that big bush of flowers. And the hydrangea was $4.99, as well as the sunflower heads. And then the other small bushes were, I had some that were $1.75, $1.99, and then I have one that was $3, and I think $3 was probably this one right here. And these were like $1.75. Okay, and then of course I had some greenery. They were $2.99. I had I have another bush that I also bought. So keep in mind the price that's on here was to create 2 or 3 arrangements. Okay, so I bought enough flowers for 2 or 3 arrangements, and I spent $56. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go on here. All right, on the sunflowers, I decided to cut 3 of those because I like to cut my focal flower in odd numbers, and I pretty much like to keep that for all the other flowers, but in this case I have 2 and so forth of each of these other ones. So let's start off with our focal flower, which is our sunflower. This is going to decide my height, and because it was the longest, pretty much almost the longest stem, I decided to go with that. So I want to insert it into the basket, into the styrofoam, about 1 inch, and I'm holding it against the edge of the basket here so that I know what height I want it. I want it to be a little lower than the handle. I don't want it, brushing up against it, and I want to be able to grab the basket like that, so if they have to move it out of the way, easily grab it and not have to have a bunch of flowers in the way. So I'm going to go a little bit lower, and then I'll bend it like that to kind of mark my way. This would be at the bottom of the basket, and this is where it's going to be inserted into the styrofoam. I need about 1 inch, so I'm going to go about 1 inch lower than that, and that's where I want to insert it. Okay, now you can just insert your flowers in there, easily pull them out, but I like to put a little bit of hot glue. So I'm going to put that right in the middle. I don't need to bend the flower anyway because it's already facing upwards, so it's really nice, and because it's a centerpiece, it'll be looked at from both sides. All right, so I've cleared out my table so that you can see what I'm doing here, and the flowers are on it are not a distraction. All right, so now this flower, I want it to come out of the basket a little bit beyond the width of it, the diameter or the circumference. So, well, the circumference will be all the way around, diameter straight in like that. Anyway, so this diameter, I want this flower to be about right here touching the styrofoam, and then about 1 inch, like I said, to insert. So I'm going to bend it right there, and then I'm going to bend this flower upward like that. A little bit of glue just to keep it in there. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other flower that I have over here. So you need to bend it to kind of come out and kind of drape in the way that you want it to. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing to this flower, but instead of being, facing this way, it's going to be facing the other side of the basket, So this is kind of facing this side and off to the side this way. So now I want this one to face this side, and of course this end over here. So again, I'm going to do the same thing where I bend it, and I'm like seeing, okay, this is where it's going to touch. I need about 1 inch to go into the styrofoam, bend it, a little bit of glue. And then if you need to do any more bending, and I do, I want to do a little bit more right there. I want it to look like it just kind of like decided to drape along the edge of the basket. So this is what I have so far. This is my shape that I'm creating. It's sort of a triangle coming like that. This one's a little bit higher point than these are. These are almost level to each other, so we're doing a triangle like that, okay? So now everything else that I'm going to put in there is just a filler, and I don't want it to come out any further than this, and I don't want it to be any higher than that. I want it to be within this parameter, okay? So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Okay, let's take this flower. Doing basically what these two did, except that I'm going to be going further in. Mark where it's going to go into the styrofoam. A little extra. Then that. Now, a little tip, if you have leaves that just don't want to go in the direction that you want them, snip it off. This is doing okay, so I'm going to leave that one there. But this one, now I'm going to add a little bit of glue here and just glue it to the stem somewhere or onto the little stems of the flowers, so then it'll be in the position that you want it to be. There we go. Okay, and these I only grabbed two, so I think I'm going to grab another blue and another green. And I want these right in here. So about that much to trim off. One right here. The other right next to it. And I'm inserting them at an angle. So the little stick is going into the styrofoam at an angle like that, rather than going straight like that. You want to give them a little bit of an angle. You know, they're not necessarily straight up like the sunflower. You want them to be a little bit to the side. But if you, for some reason, if you can't get it in there at an angle, you can only get in there straight, make sure you bend the stem so that they're facing the side this way. I'm going to do the same thing I just did right here to this other side. Alright, so considering how tight my flowers are going in there, and I've still got some greenery and some small flowers to put in there, I don't need to put any moss in there to hide the styrofoam, because this is pretty much hiding everything. So if you want, you can go ahead and, you want to leave it like this or use smaller flowers here, then you're seeing the styrofoam, go ahead and tuck in some Spanish moss or some green moss, whatever you'd like to put in there. Even some shredded party paper, like the type that you buy for putting into gifts or gift bags. You can use that, or Easter grass if you have anything left over. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to use everything I bought. I'm going to use these because I want to add more of this cream color. And I think I'd like to tuck them one here and one here for sure. I'm going to test it. It's a little too long. A little too long because the more I push into it, the more it wants to bend on me. And of course, the hole in the styrofoam becomes bigger, and then it's a little bit harder for it to stay in place, even if you're using hot glue. That looks really nice. Let's do one on the other side. Good. I think I'm going to tuck one in between these two flowers here. So I'm going to push up the leaves as much as I can. Not too much. I don't want to make it too crowded up there. Cut this just enough so that you can reach the styrofoam. just like that. That looks pretty. Let me do one on the other side. Now I bought some other little bushes, and then this one also had some little extra flowers in it. I'll show you in a minute. You saw what I was showing in the beginning, and like I said, I'm not going to use everything. So I have a small basket here, so I don't have to fill it up so much. Okay, so I had these other ones that came in a little bush, and I cut them off of one bush. I didn't do the other one. I had two of the same one. I'm not going to cut any more. I think I'm just going to use a couple. And I'm going to use the little stems that have two little flowers in it, like that. And I'm going to tuck these under here just because I want to hide some of the stem of the sunflower, even though I do have greenery that I can do that with. But I want to bring that cream further down here. Just like that. And one on this side as well. Just like that. Okay, I also have this. It came with these here. And there's a little spot right here where I can put them in. I have one on the other side of the sunflower. You guys, I may not even have to add any greenery to this. That'll fit in there really nice. We don't want to crowd it too much. The flowers are so pretty that I kind of want to use them all, although I don't have to. There we go. That's really pretty. It's hiding any little crevice. I don't need to add any more. I'm going to leave it like that. I did have this stem of berries, and I really want to use those in there, but I feel like, okay, that's overboard. Let me cut one off. Also, the plastic on here is like really soft, so I might have a little trouble inserting it into the styrofoam here. Let's see. No, that one is just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and use a couple just to break the color right here between these two cream items. Let's put just one more on this side. Ah, oh, beautiful. Gorgeous. I almost want to put some maybe coming out the ends here. I'll save this for another arrangement. Alright, so here I have the greenery, and I'm not going to need to use it all. The only thing that I need to use is something coming out here to cradle the sunflower, because it'll give this arrangement a little bit of length. We don't need it to be too big. She said she wanted it for her dining table, and she said it was about the size of mine, so mine's a small round one. Let's see, these two are more alike. Okay, let's use these two stems. Right in there. Yeah, it's going to have to be coming out right here. And then I'll just bend it. Okay. Just bend it. There we go. I love that. Look at that. Okay, let's do another one on the other side. And I have to reach in there because the stem is kind of thick there. Turn your leaves, and if you have to, pop them off and, you know, glue them so where they're coming out in the position you want. And I think I'm going to do that with this one because she's not paying attention to me. I'm going to take this one, put it on the other side here. I want this one to come out from the bottom of the sunflower, so I'm going to add some glue here, and that'll get tucked in right underneath the sunflower, and there we have a leaf cradling that. And I think we're okay with this one over here. Let's go ahead and do the same. Alright, there we go. That's all we need to do. I don't even need to put a bow on this. I think it looks really pretty just like that. Alright everyone, so I have completed my floral centerpiece in a beautiful basket in a beautiful country theme as my niece had asked for. I think the colors are nice and neutral. The basket is not too big for the centerpiece and the size of her table. I think it'll go really well. Of course, you can put it anywhere else besides your dining room table. It is, like I said, it's very neutral colors, so you can place them anywhere. And we'll go through, of course, summer and even fall, because the colors are also very well good for fall. All right, I hope you enjoyed me putting this together. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you're enjoying the content, I'm going to ask you to please hit that red subscribe button, and then in notifications, please choose all so that you get notified as soon as I upload a video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Again, please leave a kind comment down below. Let me know what you think of the project, and don't forget to share on your social medias. And as always, enjoy.